there's food trucks in other counties that refuse to come to Millville because they don't want to get fingerprinted. They're very upstanding people, and they just don't see why it's necessary to be fingerprinted and background checked to fill out an application to operate a food truck in the town.
And so that's Millville specifically. That's not the
Millville
county. That's a,
specifically, yes.
and
Yeah.
so I can in Millville, I can serve food, sell food, prepare food, have certifications for the things related to those services. But as soon as I do it in a vehicle with wheels, you want my fingerprints?
Yep.
I wonder if they're not dancing on a line where they're just looking for a lawsuit.
I I'm shocked no one has done anything yet.
Welcome to the Bridgeton Beacon and this conversation with Paul Simmons of Glasstown Brewery.
And sometimes I call it Glasstown Brewery, but I think my bumper sticker says Glasstown Brewery. So can you clarify? It is brewing, right?
Yeah, I think we have it as Glasstown Brewing, but whatever works. Glasstown Brewing Company, Glasstown Brewery, whatever.
What's on the paperwork?
On the what?
On the paperwork.
Oh, I think it's Glasstown Brewing LLC,
Okay.
doing business as Glasstown Brewing Company.
Gotcha. And you just celebrated an anniversary. What number was that?
Well, we're coming up on number 10 in a couple months.
Oh, okay, that's right. And it would appear that you're ready for the call. Either that or you've got a Monday afternoon problem.
Yeah. Well, it's an everyday problem.
And I should say this. Everybody who drinks Glasstown loves the artwork, and I see new artwork there, so it looks like you've got some new stuff to share. I'll give you the floor and go to town.
There's a little bit. I mean, some of it's the same. Some of it's, we got our. I brought out the Clash of the Pumpkins because we just released our pumpkin beer for the year just this past weekend. So that'll be pouring pretty steady for the next month and a half until we're out of it. Usually it makes it to Halloween, but not all the time. So yeah, you got to get in and get it early. We just brewed our Blackberry Scratch, was blackberry wheat beer made with local organic blackberries from Vineland, Pureberry Farms in Vineland. And then I don't know if you can see it over here. I think I'm cut off, but I've got our typical
609.
609 IPA, and then we did a mango wheat beer this summer, which was fantastic, and we're almost out of that. So just a couple things to throw out there that some things that are new, some things are just seasonal that we got going on right now. So
Cool. And now you guys are also big on like weekend food trucks, and you have or rather, organizations or people tend to use your property for events throughout the year, sometimes fundraisers, sometimes birthday parties, things like that. Is there anything on the calendar coming up that's like
yeah, our the biggest thing we have going on is on September 16th we have our second annual Glasstown Oktoberfest. This year we're going to have a polka band live here. Polka Pete's going to be here. Might even be his last show or their last show in New Jersey. I believe one of the gentlemen's retiring and moving to whatever. He's retiring and moving away. But I hear there might be plans to add somebody back into the mix. So the band might not go away, but as of right now, this could be their last hurrah. So we're hoping for a really good show. They're a great time. We're going to have some couple games. We're going to have some keg throwing or rolling something. I think you got to roll them because it's safer than throwing them. Stein holding
a lot.
yeah. Stein holding competition. We got some vendors coming out. We've got Beach Funds is going to be out here. They make some fantastic cakes and pastries. I believe We have 2 food trucks coming out right now. We have Bolt Catering and I believe Hook or Land are coming out. So we've got that going on. We'll have a tent out back, so it's a rain or shine event. It's happening no matter what. Anything outside of a hurricane, we're doing it. So, which is that time of year. So hopefully we'll be all right.
You, funny you should mention it. I literally just finished putting up hurricane shutters.
Oh,
We
that's
get,
right. Yeah, I don't
we
know.
got we got one coming. I think it's going to be
I
legit.
know. Where
So
where where are you at exactly?
I'm in Fort Myers, and they're telling the exact
Okay.
same story that they told last year with Ian. They're like, it's going to hit Tampa. It's going to hit Tampa.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
first
yeah,
time
yeah,
they
yeah.
told me it was going to hit Tampa, it
It
jumped
went
all
right
over
through there.
Fort Myers. Um, so yeah, I'm getting ahead of it, but it's yeah, fingers crossed. It's just your
As
run
of
of the
right
mill
now,
Category 4.
I may have went to school for meteorology. I didn't graduate, so don't take. I mean, if you think their stuff's bad, you think their forecasting's bad. I'm really gonna be bad. But I don't know. It looked like it was gonna go a little bit further north last time I looked at it, which was about an hour ago. But the reality is they don't know where it's going until about 12 hours before it's gonna hit. So the they everybody just has to start preparing for the worst and and kind of get your stuff together and do what you did, button up and hope that they're wrong and or really wrong and it keeps even going even further north. But yeah.
It's you guys might get some drinking weather next week. It looks like the rain might be headed your way after it goes through us and gets up
Yeah,
on the
end of the
Carolinas.
week, as long as it clears out for the weekend, I'm happy. It'll be all right.
And and so what's the date of your Oktoberfest again?
That is September 16th. It is basically noon until we close, but the band will be on between 2 and 6. But we have T-shirts and mugs, which I don't have right here for sale, logoed for the party for the festival, and yeah, I think they're going to be starting a pre-sale, so you have to check out our website for that or Facebook, probably on Facebook or Instagram for the pre-sale on some of that stuff. So everything's sold out really quick last year. So recommend anybody getting if you're going to do it and want to pre-order, do it soon. It actually would help us because we'll reorder more this year where we didn't get a chance to do that last year. So
Yeah, your merch
just try not to
goes.
have, yeah, not trying to have extra stuff laying around that's dated, for 2023 and Oktoberfest. So
So, you know what's kind of different that happens at your bar that I discuss, and people are always surprised when I mention it. Like, I go to this brewery in Millville, New Jersey, where they always mix beers together and they make combinations and mix and match. And sometimes it's two, sometimes it's three, sometimes they're hitting 4 beers on the rail and making a combo. Can you speak to that a little bit? Is that a unique Glasstown thing? Is that just a small brewery culture thing? But it's one of the big draws because I know half the people sitting at the bar generally have a mix going. So it's certainly not just for show. Speak to that because I think it's awesome.
well, I would say so. The girls that work the bar, Mariah, over the years, Mariah and Hannah, who just left a little bit ago, um, they were kind of the ones that really started the whole mixing thing. And I have to be honest, wasn't a fan of it at first. Thought it was kind of gimmicky, but hey, if the customer, what the customer's always right. So give them what they want. Um, I'll say it gets a little confusing because I don't always serve beer. So when I come back behind the bar and I have to get somebody a beer and they throw out some weird name, like what am I saying, 856 fish or something. I mean, I guess some of them I can kind of figure out, some of them I can't. So it's a little goofy, but I mean, I'm drinking we're calling it the Czech Republic right now. So we got the Mango Republic in our Czech pills. So it's half and half Czech pills in the mango. And don't ask me why I think it's better than one or the other. I don't know. I just for some reason I feel like it makes the mango drink lighter. I don't know, but I like it,
It's
so I drink it.
I drink combos there all the time, and some of them have gotten wild in the last year because you guys started making like hard sodas,
Oh
and
yeah, oh yeah,
so now you've got like an orange hard soda or a grape hard soda or a vanilla hard soda or what you've got pumpkin spice.
yeah.
You
The
know,
cream,
then you can really get creative.
yeah, the cream soda and the pumpkin beer is so ridiculous. It's just like just needs a splash on that pumpkin beer, and it is just amazing. But yeah, I mean, and the same thing. We were messing around. So we did a hard Arnold Palmer style iced tea, so a half iced tea, half lemonade, and we realized putting a touch of the blackberry into that iced tea lemonade mix was is phenomenal too. So it's goofy. I don't know. These guys sit around here and just mix stuff all day. I don't know. I don't know how much we waste doing it, but it's funny because I'll come in and they'll throw say, "Oh, you want to try this?" And sometimes I'm just like, that's too weird. And then occasionally they'll throw something at me. I'm like, oh yeah, that actually works, you know. But I don't always like them all, but they've thrown quite a few good ones out there. I mean, a lot of people mix the big breakfast with a little bit of pumpkin too. Um, that's been a pretty good one, but that's obviously a seasonal thing when we have it. So
Now, the big breakfast is a stout, correct?
it's a porter,
A
yeah,
porter. Sorry, I knew it was a
but
porter.
it's
So,
dark. Whatever. It's the same. It's potato
but what are
potato.
the but give the description for that beer because that, as I recall, has like several bullet points in terms of
Yeah,
uh, flavor notes.
the big breakfast is a coffee maple porter. So a lot of coffee, a lot of maple syrup up front flavor. So it's literally like drinking breakfast.
And what's the typical? So I can see that making sense. Like that is a good mix, but that generally gets mixed with something else, right? There's a real popular mix with that your porter. Oh, I can't remember what it is, but it's also very breakfasty. I feel like the second one. Oh, we came up with something one day that involved the orange soda. So it was like coffee and orange juice. Oh, I forget what it was. But yeah,
I don't know.
that was one of the mixes we got into at your bar one day. No, you weren't there, by the way. No, this mostly happens behind your back.
Yeah, it does a lot of it.
We're
I know.
just completely we're just bastardizing your product as
I,
much and as often
and
as
I think, and
possible.
luckily, thankfully, they only bug me with some of the ones that taste better.
I imagine you only want to show the boss the stuff that you think is a home run. And then
Yeah.
and merch, you said. So are you guys running low on hats and t-shirts? And FYI, you guys are always running low on hats and t-shirts, which is a
Yeah.
compliment because when they come in, they
Every
go out.
yeah. I say we don't usually place huge orders for things, but it seems like every time we do order things, it doesn't stick around very long.
Should we mention is there anything online with your pizza results or those pizza videos that we should point people to? Is there any weirdness you've gotten into that bears mentioning because it's fun or funny or locally related?
I haven't had a chance to really some of the audio is pretty bad on them, so I never really had a chance to try and clean them up and edit it and get them posted individually. But um, so the only thing I will say about that is our South Jersey Pizza Madness uh, that basically included the uh, greater Millville area, a little bit of Bridgeton, a little bit of Vineland, mainly a lot of the pizzas in Millville. But I thought it was a great success, and I've definitely had people bumped into people at AC Beer Fest and a couple other locations that were like, "Hey, the pizza thing was really cool. Like, you got to let us know when you're doing it again, or oh, do something with cheesesteaks next, or
Oh, that's
people want
good.
us to do
Cool.
something with all the like best tacos in the area." So there's some things that we're kind of thinking about. We're kind of waiting until the summer died down a little bit, where I might have a little more free time to gallivant around and hit some different locations. But yeah, it's fun. Beer and food definitely mix very well. So it's something that we're kicking around. We're trying to figure out a good format for how to go about doing it, and I don't know. You might see some taco videos or some burritos or something, or some cheesesteaks being eaten. I still can't eat meat for another like about a month and a half. So once we get to November, I'll be back on the red meat train. So
Well, good for you. Stay away from ticks.
yeah, working on it.
All right. So then, you know what? Consider this. If you're going to be the taco guy or you're going to be the cheesesteak guy and you don't want to have to worry about addressing your sound issues, let's make this a collaboration between the Bridgeton Beacon and we'll just dual produce it. And I'll give you versions with all cleaned up sound if I get to have versions with all cleaned up sound.
I mean, that could work for me.
The other thing is you can look up this tool called Auphonic, AUPH, Auphonic, and very cheap for you to process a couple hours of audio and remove background noise or remove background noise but keep music and speech or remove everything but speech. It's like $19 and I think you can get 5 or 6 audios processed through it. So you can upload the actual video you took into Auphonic. It will I'll let you pick a few settings and then spit the audio out. You download the audio and make that up with the video in your editor. So
Gotcha. Yeah.
that'll fix a lot of what you have from your pizza contest.
Okay. We'll have to circle back and I'll get that written down.
It's going to be in the podcast.
Okay.
I'll leave that in. Makes me sound like I know what I'm talking about when it comes to it. But yeah, it's an easy tool. It's AI. It's neat. You've seen some of the AI stuff we mess with. All
Yeah.
right. What else you got? We're only 16 minutes in. I thought you and I were going to go for an hour easy. What's in a few of the big selling combos?
Well, that's a good question.
Oh,
Because I don't even know. So there's one guy, Crazy Mark. He's been drinking the.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Now, we have no proof that Mark is in fact crazy, but I'll leave it to you to decide. Here's Mark from Chance's General Store in Newport,
Hey,
New
folks,
Jersey.
Mark here with Chance's General Store. What's in right now? It's crabbing season. Everybody loves to go crabbing. We have here at Chance's General Store, we have hand lines. Hand lines are available. It's just pro lines. Crab traps. We have crab traps. We have crab nets all ready to go. We got what you need for crabbing. Stop in and see us here in Newport, Chance's General Store.
I know. Maybe Paul's the crab. Now back to the show.
What the heck? He's drinking the Czech Pilsner with a splash of the cream soda in it, which I think is so bizarre. But it's called what Mark's drinking. So, which I do think that has changed over time. But I think Donna drinks 8.5 fish, which is eight. I believe that's 8.56, part 8.56 and part fisherman's. I think. I mean,
and
730.
856 is
There's a
856 is a
seven.
double IPA, right? What's the fish?
Yeah,
What's
8.56 is the double IPA. Fisherman's is like a pub ale, so it's kind of like a biscuity, malty beer. Kind of on the lighter side. It's kind of. I would liken it. It's like an ale version of like Sam Adams Boston Lager. It's kind of on that level of flavor and lightness. 732, I believe, is a mix of 609 and 856. I think that's like 856, 609 meet in the middle, and it's 732.
I can confirm that, yeah.
Yeah, you do. Okay, okay. Honestly, after that, I think people mix something with the nightcap, which is the Belgian blonde. I don't know what they mix with it though. I don't know. There's way more than what. Like I said, I think people this time of year people will mix the porter and the pumpkin together. I don't know what the name of that. Actually, no. Oh, so there was one when we had our bourbon brown, and it was a mix of bourbon brown, big breakfast, and the pumpkin. And it was your pumpkins are big and brown, I think. I believe that was the mix. I don't know. That's a Mariah question. We should have brought her in for that one.
I
But
know. I
yeah,
I regret not mentioning that it would have been great to have one of the one of your soldiers in there with you, because those guys really do have their thumb on the pulse more than
yeah.
anything.
Well, I
I
mean,
understand that.
we'll have to do it again.
Oh, we totally should. We totally should.
I
That
mean,
would I
with the cream soda. I mean, with the hard sodas, the cream soda, the orange and the orange and the creamsicle blend is phenomenal. I mean,
Oh yeah.
people crush that.
I've had that. That's delicious. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
I'm pretty much convinced you could add that cream soda to anything and make it taste better.
That cream soda is an excellent standalone, like hard
Yeah,
soda. For people who have ever had a hard soda, that, for my money, tastes as much like the non-alcoholic original version that it's
yes,
modeled after as anything. So yeah, your cream soda is
totally.
ridiculous, and your orange soda is also kind of ridiculously accurate in that respect as well.
Yeah.
Do you mentioned a show in Atlantic City? What else goes on in New Jersey in terms of beer associations, or brewing associations? And even if that's from a perspective of you guys lobbying and trying to, plant your flag and get more power in terms of the industry, like
Yeah,
what?
there are two Jersey brewing associations. There's a Brewers Guild and the New Jersey Brewers Association, I believe. But yeah, actually, there was some really big legislation that was actually passed back right before July, or I think it was like June 30th. The state Senate and the state Assembly passed a bill to do away with all the goofy regulations in the state. The no food, no coordinating with food trucks, no having servers serve tableside. Uh, can't you can't serve. I can't, even though it's my property. I can't serve uh, beer outside, whether it's a waiter or whether I have like a draft box outside and somebody standing outside pouring. Not allowed to do that. The whole no sporting events, which they changed not too long ago to no championship sporting events. You can't show that on TV. Now you can, I guess, but you can do some of this stuff, but you have to have permits, and you only get 12 or 15 permits a year for special events, and then you got to apply for it, and yada 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 yada. So there's this legislation that was passed to do away with all of it. So that was roughly June 30th. Here we are coming up on August 30th in a couple days, and it's been sitting on the governor's desk, and he hasn't signed it yet. And to my knowledge, it doesn't sound like he's going to sign it. Um, he ran around all year for the past year and a half when he was campaigning for a reelection and talking to all these brewery owners, telling everybody how he was going to help everybody out. He was going to help everybody out and um, get help with the legislation. If anything got approved, he swore he was going to sign it right away. So I mean, he got a lot of support going into the election, and he won the election, and now he's not holding up his end of the bargain. So, which is a shame.
Yeah, that stinks. I, He's doing the same thing with judges. He was like 70 judges short 6 months ago. And it's just because he just wasn't signing off, just wasn't hiring anyone. Like everybody's just waiting for him to hire judges. So it sounds like, and now this is on the heels of when I was in Jersey, maybe it was March or April or May, I felt like there was new legislation that restricted specifically food truck relationships. So wasn't that a relatively
Yeah.
new?
So
And
It went in place right before COVID, and then they relaxed some of it during COVID and coming out of COVID. Um, then they started kind of enforcing it again, and then they weren't enforcing it. So it went back and forth quite a few times to the point where like I honestly forgot where we were at on the whole thing, and we were apparently we were filing permits for a while for some events, and another brewery that we were doing that for like they relaxed it for a period of time, and I'm like. News to me. I don't know. I went back and forth sometimes, but it wasn't like the ABC was telling me, no, don't worry about filing it. They took our application, and I mean, there's no fee involved. There's just a review process. So, um, but we were also limiting ourselves to what we could do because of what the regulations say. So now, technically, the ABC, because the legislation has passed and is awaiting signature, the ABC did put out a written statement saying that they are not enforcing anything in the special ruling un- through the end of the year, assuming that it will get signed. So at least right now, it's kind of free game to do what you want, but don't get used to it because by the end of the year, if the governor doesn't sign it, everything goes right back into place, and then you're going to be butthurt when when they start cracking down on all the things that you just got used to doing without a permit. So, I mean, something tells me that they have to. You can't just let everybody go do what they want to do and then yank it back in 4 months. So it doesn't make sense. So hopefully, the governor gets around to signing it at some point before the end of the year. Otherwise, it's going to be really stupid to try and go backwards with the regulations. Even though the ABC, I can see them saying, "Well, we told you it was temporary," but you know, you just gave everybody the license to drive. How are you going to take it away from them? So.
yeah, that's fair. What else is that that sounds like the elephant in the room in terms of like hospitality associated with breweries, and this probably affects like wineries too, or is it specific language to breweries?
Uh, Wineries have been allowed to do a lot of that stuff no matter what because they're considered to be an agricultural benefit to the state. So they've been given some leniency over the years to be able to do a lot of those things. Serve food. Uh, Even though most of them don't serve dinner, they serve smaller, kind of tapas, kind of small plate, kind of things. I'm not saying that any wineries don't serve like a full meal, but to my knowledge, the ones I've been to, primarily cheese boards, charcuterie, other kinds of very light fare. Which, let's be honest, I'm not trying to get involved. I don't want to run a restaurant. Um,
Yeah, all stuff,
would it be?
everything you've mentioned avoids installing a exhaust hood and a
Yeah.
like. So, I mean, I would do the same thing.
I mean, most breweries when they set up in their current locations, uh, probably assumed they would never have the opportunity to have food. So now let's just say there were a handful of people. There's 140 odd breweries in the state. Let's say maybe 10 people um, thought, "Hey, let's get a space where we could still build out a restaurant or a kitchen in the building." Um, so that's why we bought this. We got this space. I'd say it's got to be less than 10% of the people have, or probably less than 5% had that idea in mind. Everybody else said, "Well, we can't do it, so why would we bother getting a space and paying extra rent for a space that we can't use until we can utilize it?" So I would say the vast majority of us, and it's not on the table. They're not letting us have food. In fact, they're just basically saying that they're going to allow us to coordinate with food trucks and call them and say, "Hey, we've got this event, come out this week. I want to have a taco truck this day. I'd like to have a pizza truck that day, and let us schedule with them directly." Um, Also, where what was I going to say about that? So I don't know.
Well,
it's kind of
and
weird
so
because you'd think it wouldn't be that big a deal to just call somebody up, but technically oh yeah, you can't advertise it right now. So unless you schedule an event and have that and use that and have that food truck there for an event, where you're getting that permit and everything, then you can advertise. But if a food truck just wants to show up, theoretically, I can't tell anybody that they're out there on my social media. Now, this new legislation would allow me to advertise it. It would allow us to actually put their menus on the bar. Now, that's not saying that other breweries don't do that. We're not supposed to. So we try and play by the rules as much as possible. But it's one of those things. It's just a nuisance to have it in the back of your mind that, hey, I'm doing the wrong thing. I don't want to be doing the wrong thing. I want to do the right thing. And why not? Why is promoting another local business a wrong thing? Like, it just seems stupid. But we're in Jersey, and that just seems to be the illogical thought process. Is apparently rational thought.
or the restaurant lobby is that many more magnitudes more powerful than you guys are, and they've been in the ears of, you know, their pet legislators since you guys started popping up all over the state saying, hey, do not let these 150 breweries turn into 150 restaurants overnight, because I didn't set up, 10 locations and
I've
grease the wheels in 4 counties for you guys to stand in my way now and start cannibalizing my audience.
I've noticed that it seems to be local brick and mortar restaurants have more issues with food trucks in general than where the food truck is going. It just seems like, at least in Millville, there's been a real full court press to stop people from operating food trucks in this town, to the point where it's very intrusive into people's privacy and the people working for them. They need to be fingerprinted. They need
What?
to, yeah, you need to be fingerprinted. They need to have background checks. Last time I checked, you can open up a brick and mortar store anywhere in this town, and you don't have to be background checked or fingerprinted. So, seems a bit, I don't know. There's a word for it. I'm not going to use it. Uh,
Capricious,
yeah, I was going to take it
arbitrary,
a step. I was going to take it a step further, um,
stupid.
but it's very frustrating to see that that I frankly don't even understand how it's legal that they can get away with that, but it's happening, and it's preventing there's food trucks in other counties that refuse to come to Millville because they don't want to get fingerprinted. And
That's interesting.
they're very upstanding people, and they just don't see why it's necessary to be fingerprinted and background checked to fill out an application to operate a food truck in the town.
and so that's Millville specifically. That's not the
Millville
county. That's a
specifically, yes.
and
Yeah.
so I can in Millville, I can serve food, sell food, prepare food, have certifications for the things related to those services. But as soon as I do it in a vehicle with wheels, you want my fingerprints?
Yep.
I wonder if they're not dancing on a line where they're just looking for a lawsuit.
I once again,
I'm not kidding.
I'm shocked no one has done anything yet. But you're
Ooh.
also dealing with a group of people who, the majority of them are very small business owners, probably a sole proprietor. So if they want to operate in town, they're gonna dance the dance. If they don't, or if they have the ability to move to another town, I mean, they're gonna move to another town and operate in another town. But there's no
That's
incentive,
that's
no
unusual.
incentive to do in this town. Yeah,
That's creepy. Like, that's really an unusual ask for a food truck.
I know.
There's probably dudes working as, Brinks truck drivers in town with guns who don't have to give their fingerprints to the city to work in the city.
The
Uh,
individual towns, yeah, probably not. Yeah.
yeah, like, I mean, okay, so Yeah, this is preposterous. This is punitive, capricious, and arbitrary. I think somebody's got a case against the city of Millville or some board.
I mean, I guess maybe the issue is you got to get denied for an application for it to become an issue, or you got to somebody has to go in and refuse
Either
it, and then get denied, and then go through an appeal process or something, or a lawsuit at that point. I don't know. It just seems bizarre to me. I don't know why anybody wouldn't fight it, um, but fighting things takes time and money, and I guess
yeah,
that's the point.
exactly. Yeah, it's just a hindrance and clearly like a punitive roadblock is all it is. Yeah, it's not a well hidden, it's clearly tied to the fact that, and I would think during COVID there was so much shakeup, those guys must have been nervous, and I'd have been nervous if I was a brick and mortar shop, but I don't know how stomping down opportunities to create commerce on the other side of town, like it just doesn't help you no longer. Like make Millville a destination, make Millville a place where people are like, oh, I like going to Millville because of the food trucks at the brewery at the airport. And then on their way out of town, they're going to see Jim's Lunch. They're going to see Bruni's. They're going to see, whatever that's like the local brick and mortar. But whatever the draw was to begin with shouldn't be tamped down.
I
That's
mean,
not an advantage to anybody.
the I believe Vineland does a really good food truck festival on Landis Avenue every year, and it's very successful. And I know the racetrack here has tried to do a food truck festival, and Wheaton Arts probably has had one at some point. Um, but for places not like the nonprofits and stuff in town, and the food truck, or the racetrack, trying to add different events to bring people in to their venue. It's a very cool option. But how many food truck? If you're going to operate in this town for one day a year, why would you go through all that effort? You know, um, I get it too if somebody was local, but for like a food truck festival, some people might come from two towns up. Somebody might come down from Philadelphia. You might have some fancy food trucks that want to come down, but normally it might fill out an application, pay $100, and which might actually make them good for the year. Now I got to get everybody on the food truck. It's not just the owners; it's everyone on the food truck has to be fingerprinted and background checked. They need
Millville's
social security numbers and everything.
that Millville is getting creepy with the food trucks. There's no good reason for that. And you're right, they can't even have a street fair in Millville. I mean,
Yeah.
like that's so weird. That's so weird. Um, yeah, we should start a cause around that, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just I got enough causes, and that's not my battle to fight, but it's annoying, and we don't really stand to gain from it. We're not that busy that a food truck even wants to be out here every day. Now, if a food truck was able to be out here every day, would that eventually increase business? Hopefully, but there's no guarantee. But at the same time, trying to get anybody to in this town or I should say, trying to get food trucks that want to operate in this town, because it's not like you need the same food truck every day. A different food truck every day is great. But trying to build something consistent, but a lot of it circles back to the larger issue, which is state regulations, and that special ruling, and getting that pushed out of the way so that we can actually call people and say, hey, we think that like we got Labor Day weekend coming up. It'd be great to have somebody, two different food trucks out operating out here over the weekend. We're going to be busy. Holiday weekend, we're always busy, and it's and we're technically not we're not supposed to be calling anybody up.
Well, I feel like we should probably set something up, like some sort of like the Freedom Trucker rally, and we'll just hit all the council people's blocks with a food truck freedom rally to spread the word in Millville. I
Food
mean,
truck fee, really.
let's take it to the streets.
Look at that for This is all the rage, by the way. This is how all the young kids are doing it now.
What, pouring a beer with a head on it that's 9 inches?
Yeah, it's big time.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they pay extra for that.
Oh, I believe that actually. It's probably huge on TikTok.
Probably started there. Yeah.
Oh, that's actually a disgraceful pour. I wish one of your employees was here to comment on that at length. Now, real quick, what's going on at the airport? I mentioned Bruni's and Jim's Lunch, so I real quick have to give a burger shout out to Verna's flight line, Millville Airport. The TNT burger, arguably South Jersey's greatest burger.
It's a good
And
burger.
yeah, they have a 5 ounce and an 8 ounce version. You get the 8 ounce version, which comes on a nice brioche roll. That's the way to go. That brioche holds together much better because this is a saucy disaster. You're gonna love it. So
Yeah.
there's my
Yeah,
there's my shout
that
out to Verna, who I haven't seen in a couple months, which is way too long for me to not see Verna. But what else is going on at the airport for people who don't get out there, don't know that there's a racetrack, don't know that there's a brewery, don't know that there's a real estate office or a
Yeah,
burger?
well, to touch on Bernice for a second, I think once or twice a month they're doing wing night on Wednesday nights. So they had, I don't know if she does it, she had somebody special coming in. They have this really good, uh,
She has
uh,
somebody come in.
yeah, she got somebody coming in and they have this special rub that they put on and it's really good. And they've got a couple like house sauces that they've been doing. And
Now, Paul hits the nail right on the head here. And you can actually check out a previous episode of the Bridgeton Beacon where we sat with Verna and her hired gun, Eldon. Eldon is the one who has the dry rub, and they serve it dry rub, no sauce. You get your choice of sauces and then your choice of dipping sauces, blue cheese and then ranch for communists. So Verna's got burgers every day of the week, and then these special wings with a hired gun, Eldon, are on occasion. You'll want to check Verna's Flightline Facebook page to see what availability is. It's usually a Wednesday, and Eldon's wings are worth it. That's Verna's Flightline. Now back to Paul at Glasstown Brewery.
we've got them a couple times out here and it's really good. Um, but I always forget to look, and I should just set up a notification on my phone or something to know when she's doing it because it never fails. I'll go home, eat dinner, and then come out here, and then there's like 4 or 5 people who's sitting here eating wings. I'm like, damn it, forgot there's wings. Because I, along with beer, I like my wings.
Those are
But
good.
outside of the wings, I don't know. I mean, you got Barry and Michelle over at Smith and Jackson. They're doing their thing with the gun shop and um, the museum air show coming next year. Don't
That's
ask me the
huge.
date, but there's definitely an air show 2024. Uh, so check their website for that information. I believe they're trying to get if they can get the blue. They're on a waiting list for the Blue Angels. If they can get the Blue Angels, there will be another air show in 2025 with the Blue Angels. So I know that's on the list of things that are going on. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to
That's
rack my
that's
head.
awesome. I love the air shows in Mobile. I haven't seen one in a few years, but Blue Angels would be huge. Last time I saw the air show, there were new F-18s there. There were the Canadian, who are those guys? Almost, I don't know,
Snowbirds.
the Maple Leafs, the Canadians, whatever the heck they call their Air Force. Uh, oh, okay, well that's cool. And then the racetrack, Verna's Burgers. I don't, we've done a pretty good job of covering it. We've stirred up a, a little bit of political activism. We're going to work on this food truck thing. I think that's something we can sink our teeth into. Um, yeah, no, I'm not going to go there. I was going to get into local politics, which doesn't serve either one of us. But
Yeah.
circle back. If you want to do some weird food stuff and you want to take the production out of your hands, if you'll do one half the legwork, we'll come up with some kind of collab, and I'll make sure you get clean audio and everything like that.
You mean you need me to do the eating?
Yeah,
Is that
eating and
that's my
filming.
half? I could do the eating part.
Eating and filming. Yeah. And I'll be back. it's I'm outside of Cumberland County right now, but I will be back in a short term. We did just get our first grant for the uh, nonprofit Bridged and Beacon. I
Oh,
guess
very cool.
yeah, very excited, and we're applying for larger ones. And I should have all the organizations, and I should be doing official thank yous and stuff. But I'll work that into in new episodes. But that means that episodes like this one that you do with me, there'll be a more immediate cadence of additional stuff that sort of draws the activity level up. So if nothing else, we're looking to see it sort of uh, triple or quadruple our overall amount of activity, have more conversations like this. We're working with some more nonprofits who are going to use this for just making announcements and things like that, generally in the greater Bridgeton area, but I should start getting some Millville folks on the phone. But you're always welcome, and I appreciate you spending some time. I haven't seen you in a couple months. I've been down in
Yeah, I
Florida.
know. I missed you.
But I do have your grape soda in the fridge in Lee County, Florida. I'll tell you what, if that hurricane makes a hard right turn and comes rolling at me as a category 4 or 5, I'll be down in your Glasstown Brewing grape sodas just just to fortify myself. But otherwise, I'll be back up. I'll be back in Cumberland County soon. To save me a T-shirt.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, man. Anything else? Any websites you want to send them to? Have you written a book?
I have not written a book. I'm working on that though.
We got to get you
Um,
into Chat GPT.
oh my lord. The uh, other than I mean, this we've got our 10-year anniversary coming up.
Oh yeah.
Technically, so technically, we got our brewing license on Thanksgiving Eve of 2013. So this year, Thanksgiving Eve, theoretically, is our 10-year anniversary. We started brewing the Black Friday of 2023. So, but we always celebrate our anniversary after the holidays, kind of when things settle down. We technically had our grand opening in January, so that's kind of why we always do late January, early February for our anniversary. So I don't have a list of beers that we're going to do for our anniversary yet, but we're definitely going to have a lot of good stuff. Um, we always have something new and exciting for Black Friday. We do our big gift card sale on Black Friday. It's a great weekend. We always have a couple new beers. It's just such a great weekend. Everybody's home. Uh, a lot of faces that you see during the summer. Families, kids go off to college. You usually see everybody here around Thanksgiving, which is great. And then we did a holiday bazaar last winter or last year. We had a lot of local crafters and entrepreneurs outside behind the building. It was a really cool event. We're definitely going to try and do that again. Might try and add some music to it this year. Might add another tent to try and make it a little bigger as well. So a couple different things that are the same, but we're trying to make it bigger and better. Um, yeah, so
Good.
but our 10-year is going to be in January. It's going to, kind of a big mark. We are still working on the possibility of buying a farm. So that's on the table still. Jen and I have had this goal of having a farm brewery ever since we opened here. But obviously, we didn't have a ton of money when we opened here. So, you know, every year we get along, we get a little bit closer, and we are finally getting to the point where it might be in our grasps in the next year or so. We'd love to make it happen this fall and hopefully announce something, you know, at our anniversary that it's moving forward. But the current interest rate environment isn't the best, isn't doing us any favors. So things are kind of on hold, but we're still trying to push forward. And we're hoping to have some good news about that in the next 6 to 12 months. So
Oh, that's huge. We could have talked. We could have talked about that the whole time. It just comes up now. That's big stuff. Well, give my love to Jen.
I
Uh,
will.
yeah, say hello to the regulars for me. And
We'll do.
next time we do this, coordinate with your front line people. And at the
Yeah, definitely.
and really, anytime you want to send a video of just one of Grayson's dad jokes,
Yeah.
I'll work that into something.
Not a problem. I'll try to remember.
All right. Yeah, give my love to the kids too, then, I guess. Uh,
Yeah.
all right, man. Thank you very much. This will be I don't know what this will be, but I'm gonna probably put an inordinate amount of time into dressing it up and trying to
Okay.
get very flashy clips out of it because now that we're exploring some of the funding venues, I want to show what because we just moved to video, so we really part of it was up in production values. So you'll be an example of hopefully maybe not what our eventual best will be, but certainly the next step in our progression. So I'll dress this up as much as possible and make it nifty.
Okay. Sounds great.
All right. Next time you need to wear a flannel, don't. Oh, I meant, damn it! I planned an introduction that was all about your flannels.
Way too hot. It's way too hot for a flannel.
I'm not even kidding. I had a whole thing in my head this morning about I was going to introduce you as a local leader but be kind of vague, and then you were going to think I was talking about brewing, and I was going to be talking about flan. Yeah, that was I totally forgot. Damn.
I had Jen drop off a shirt because I'm an idiot and I left the house and I was wearing some goofy thing, and I'm like, crap, I'm not even wearing anything that says Glasstown. I'm like, what am I doing?
I had a Glasstown shirt on this morning when I was working outside, but it's not presentable anymore.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's a little warm down there.
All right, Governor. So when I hit stop, your upload is still going to probably take a couple seconds. So don't
Okay, so don't
close out.
touch anything.
Yeah, don't
All
close
right.
out immediately, but it'll probably just take a couple seconds. In fact,
The Bridgeton Beacon is brought to you in part by the Greater Bridgeton Area Chamber of Commerce. And we'd love to thank the Cumberland County Cultural and Heritage Commission. That is the grant that we mentioned during the show. That was the very first grant for the Bridgeton Beacon as a nonprofit. So thank you to the Cumberland County Cultural and Heritage Commission, the Greater Bridgeton Area Chamber of Commerce, Chance's General Store, and Glasstown Brewing. Talk to you soon. Look, and if you want to put ranch on your wings, hey, it's a free country.